Well, you know it when you feel it. The heat here in Kentuckiana hits you the second you step outside, and it's not going to get any better yet. In fact, our hottest days are on the way, feeling closer to 100 degrees. It's our top story again here at 5 o'clock on this heat wave week. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Shay McAllister. We do want to see how long it's going to last. We know you're interested in that. So let's get right on over to meteorologist Christina San Juan. Christina, what is the timeline for this?
Yeah, well, we're pretty much in the thick of it right now, you guys. We still have several more days of dealing with temperatures that are in the mid and even upper 90s. And right now is no exception, as we are all sitting in the lower 90s across Kentuckiana. We do have some 80s there in central Indiana, but hey, it is still pretty warm, all things considered. Everybody's sitting above average for this time of the year. And as we take a look at the feels like temperatures, this is what you really notice as you're stepping out the door. In fact, it feels like it's 99 around Springfield, feeling like 96 here in Louisville. It feels like 98 Frankfort over to Lexington as well as Richmond. We do have a couple of storms that'll cool you down ever so slightly as they quickly move on through, and they're only going to last about 5 to 10 minutes of providing some heavier downpours right now up to the just to the south or north, I should say, of the city, going over Sellersburg there in I-65. And you could see that earlier on that live camera. We also have some storms that are going to be impacting you folks around Tell City, but expect all of this to wrap up by sundown this evening, and then we're staying dry as we head into our Wednesday. I'll tell you how high that heat index is going to be for you Wednesday coming up in just a bit. Shay and Doug.
Christina, thank you very much. Well, the heat, as you know, can certainly be especially difficult on the workers who are spending all day long outside. We're talking postal workers, construction workers, even professional athletes have to brave the temperatures to get their work done. So today we hit the tennis courts to speak with tennis pro Joshua Russell. He spends hours outside every day regardless of our Kentuckiana heat. He told us on hot days like today he can go through as many as 4 gallons of water to stay hydrated. His suggestion, if you're going to be outside for a long time, water is not enough. You want something with electrolytes in it.
You sweat, a lot of your vitamins or your minerals, they get depleted, and you're just reinforcing, you're building it back up. So water is good. You got to drink a ton of water, but you need something to have that. Liquid IV would be something that's good. That's a brand. Anything along those lines.
Well, it is important to know the difference between heat exhaustion and a heat stroke. If you're experiencing heat exhaustion, you might notice dizziness, thirst, heavy sweating, or nausea. If it's a heat stroke, you might face some confusion or even unconsciousness. Either way, experts say you need to call 911 immediately. And we don't want you to forget about your pets this week. When it comes to animals, it's important to notice the signs of a heat stroke for them. Watch out for panting, excessive drooling, vomiting, reddened gums, tongue, rapid heart rate, or wobbly movement. Animals are also at a more severe rate of risk when they are older, have obesity, poor heart or lung conditioning. And keep in mind, animals can be even more at risk if they are short-nosed, flat-faced, or have a thick coat of hair.
Well, to keep workers safe in the heat this week, Rumpke Waste and Recycling Company says the crews are going to be out earlier earlier than usual now, picking up trash and recyclables. The trash company says teams are heading out earlier in the morning so they can finish their routes earlier before the extreme heat gets really bad. So this is important. If you're a Rumpke customer, you should have your trash and recycling out on the curb the night before it's supposed to be picked up. We're now following a developing story into the newsroom, another sexual harassment allegation for LMPD, this one resulting in a lawsuit.
This comes just days after the chief of police was placed on administrative leave for her handling of a different accusation. In this case, Officer Christine Silk is accusing 2 male colleagues of sexual harassment, discrimination, and creating a hostile work environment. In the lawsuit, Officer Silk says she was retaliated against when she reported the harassment to a superior.
Officer Silk filed the lawsuit in Jefferson Circuit Court and accuses Officer Justin Lemon and Dale Cottingem of sexually harassing her on numerous occasions. The alleged harassment includes inappropriate photos and text messages being sent to Officer Silk. You may remember Officer Silk's name because she was one of several officers involved in a shooting back in May on Crawford Avenue in PRP. We received this statement from LMPD late this afternoon. It reads in part, "We take all allegations of this nature seriously and immediately launch internal investigations once they are brought to our attention per our standard operating procedures. Regarding the specific allegations contained in the lawsuit, one investigation was completed in 2023. That officer was disciplined and transferred. The other investigation is ongoing, and while it is ongoing, the officer has been reassigned with powers limited pending the outcome of the powers limited pending the outcome of the investigation." We've got more of this statement for you on our website at WHAS11.com. Well, today, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg was called to Frankfort. He was asked by state lawmakers to update them on some of the challenges the city is facing, as well as triumphs that we have seen here.
And the very first question for the mayor had to do with how Louisville fared on the national stage during the PGA Championship at the Valhalla Golf Club. State legislators questioned Mayor Greenberg about how the PGA of America felt about Louisville and the course, especially after the arrest of Scotty Scheffler on Friday morning. Those charges were officially dropped against him a few weeks ago. Greenberg claims despite the negative attention, the PGA was pleased with how it all went.
The PGA, though, was incredibly pleased with the relationship of the city, with the new ownership, and with the results of the tournament, with record attendance and record speed to sell all the corporate venues that were out there. The ratings were up significantly year over year. I'm excited about the future of working with Valhalla.
Right now, there are no active plans to bring the PGA back to Valhalla. There's been no announcement by the PGA. The PGA Championship is scheduled years in advance, and the earliest it could return, again could, is 2032.
Well, in that same committee hearing today, a notable appearance, Mayor Greenberg sitting alongside recently named Acting Police Chief Paul Humphrey.
Greenberg placed the current chief, Jackie Gwen Villarreal, on paid administrative leave, as you know. That was announced last week, June 12th. He launched an investigation into her handling of an LMPD sexual harassment claim. Now, for the first time, he's telling us how long that investigation could take. Our senior reporter, Isaiah Kim Martinez, and photojournalist Emma Gefter were in Frankfort today. And Isaiah, you saw Paul Humphrey there testifying. Did he appear comfortable in the role talking to Kentucky lawmakers about this?
Well, Doug Shea, he did. And as you guys know, he's no stranger to making public appearances. He very much has been a known quantity, both at news conferences and after tragedy. And of course, he's the primary representative for LMPD in its negotiations with the Department of Justice. But today was significant. From what we know, this is Humphrey's first public appearance speaking alongside the mayor since being named acting chief. And in an interview after the hearing, he told me in many ways his current responsibility is business as usual.
We've been running it this entire time, and nothing's going to change about that. Obviously, the situation we're in is a little bit unique, but we have a great executive staff that's still with us. We have great officers that are out there doing the job. It doesn't matter who the chief is or even who the mayor is. Their job's the same. It's to take care of people and protect people, and they're dedicated to doing that.
And remember, an independent investigator is looking into Chief Jackie Gwen Villarreal's handling of a workplace sexual harassment allegation involving LMPD officers. And new today, I asked the mayor directly how quickly he'd like it done. He told me as quickly as possible and that he expects it to take another month or so. Again, that from the mayor. And Shay, there are two separate independent investigations going on right now. One is being handled by David Byer, a former FBI agent. That's specifically to look at the actions of the police chief and, of course, the recording of the May 22nd command staff meeting that's been made public. And Shay, of course, you have information on Major Brian Kurger as well.
All right, Isaiah, thank you very much. Well, that second investigation looks into the sexual harassment allegations against LMPD Major Brian Kurger. Today, the Jefferson County Attorney's Office told us this investigation is being handled by private attorney Jay Dillbeck. They say he routinely investigates matters for Metro government when there is an internal conflict. The county attorney's office says the allegations can't be internally investigated by LMPD because Kurger supervises the professional standards unit. We are told Chief Gwen Villarreal asked the Jefferson County Attorney's Office to step in here. Again, this is a separate investigation from the one that former FBI agent David Byer is conducting right now.
Now to a question on this year's ballot that could change the Kentucky Constitution.
Republican lawmakers continue to push for public school alternatives, but the state's constitution is stalling their progress. Just 5 months from now, Voters will have their say. If Amendment 2 passes this November, it would change the Kentucky state constitution. So here's a paraphrased version of the question. Are you in favor of the General Assembly providing financial support to students outside of public schools? The amendment would allow the General Assembly to use tax dollars on private and charter schools. Right now, the Constitution only allows public money to be used at public schools. Ian Hardwitt spoke with groups vying for your vote today.
This November, Kentucky voters will decide if, yes, public tax dollars can go towards private schools, or no, if that money has to stay within the public school system. Some of the people asking for your no vote are leaders within the JCPS school district, while a free market think tank is asking for your yes vote.
And we have a demand here for a better education system. The problem is we need to focus on how to supply that.
Jim Waters, president of the Bluegrass Institute for Public Policy Solutions, believes publicly funded vouchers for private schools will give families more options when deciding where their kids will go. He points to JCPS falling short of state benchmarks in reading and math as a reason people need the choice, and that private school would be out of reach for low-income families without vouchers.
The voucher amendment, as we call it, paves the way for our state to begin writing blank checks to private schools using public tax dollars.
JCPS Board Chair Corey Scholl, along with the Jefferson County Teachers Association Union President, disagree with Waters.
If Amendment 2, the voucher amendment, passes, money will be taken away from public schools and given to unaccountable private schools.
The president-elect of the statewide PTA joins them in asking for no votes on Constitutional Amendment 2, saying private schools leave citizens without a voice.
I at least had, people that I could talk to and advocate for. If you don't have a school board, you can't advocate for that.
She worries students like her daughter, who need extra help with reading, may not have resources if public school funds go toward private or charter schools. However, Waters says charters could actually provide that sort of specialized instruction.
And so that charter will indicate what kind of school this is going to be and how it will perform in exchange for freedom from some of the rules and regulations that we believe hold great teachers back.
Ultimately, it's the voters who will decide that future in Kentucky. In Louisville, Ian Hardwitt, WHAS11, on your side.
And the Protect Our Schools Kentucky group is having an event at Seneca High School tonight at 6 o'clock. They will be asking families to vote no on the constitutional amendment.
If the amendment passes, it will remove the main barrier to state-funded charter and private schools. Well, today, JCPS Superintendent Marty Polio is having his annual evaluation with the Board of Education. This comes after both major controversy and big changes that were applauded at JCPS. JCPS opened 2 new schools in West Louisville to begin the year, but it was also plagued, as you know, by the transportation disaster, with students both arriving to school late and getting home hours after school let out on the first day of school last August. This year, the JCPS School Board also approved all new start times for more than 80 schools in the district, impacting thousands of students and parents. The evaluation is happening right now, but it is in a closed-door session. Ahead